Yo, what is going on, everybody? We are super excited to be back with the second episode of season 2 of the Quigley podcast. And we were excited to sit down this week and go over some of the ideas as we look into the future of College Halo. Once again, looking at this start of the new season, as well as some of our takes on the most recent LVT Pro League LAN that we just got to watch over the past weekend, as of this recording at least. Then we were able to kind of go into some ideas on these two new maps that have been thrown into rank play, and looking more into one that we may be seeing played out in the pro scene as well as the competitive collegiate scene for Halo. We're super excited to have this episode be out, and we cannot appreciate you guys enough for all the support. Remember, you can catch the audio version of this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts every Friday, and then the video version will be posted on YouTube every Saturday. Of course, also remember to catch us on Monday nights for our weekly prediction show as we look into the players and teams competing in Collegiate Halo.
Quigley is part of the SuperPods network. You can find SuperPods on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Patreon, and Twitter at _SuperPods. You can also join our Discord at discord.gg/SuperPods. Thank you for your continued support, and happy listening.
What is up, everybody? We are back with another week of the Quigley podcast. This week, a little slower. Don't have 3 guests on. Back to just me and Banksy here talking about some Halo news going around, especially the LVT Pro League as we just saw the championship, and a little bit of college Halo insights as we look into the season as we get started. So, Banksy, look, it's been a week. This time I don't get to say that we haven't talked because we've been talking, we've been doing stuff this week. So, how are you? Let people know.
Openly, I've been pretty good. School's actually been very easy this week. And honestly, we've kind of been slamming in Halo. I don't know what it is. Like today felt good. I got to play with OG. So kind of excited. Big Jiggly. And dude, he knows what he's doing, but he's still just small mistakes. So excited for this season with OG and Faye. Once we get the ball rolling, I think it'll be fun. I think we shake some things up.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun, to be honest. I'm really ready to kind of just see how we play against these teams that we're going to be playing throughout this entire I wanted to say open throughout this entire regular season. Now that the qualifier's over and we can finally see who we're playing up against. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to get back into the action because this off season has felt like forever.
It really has. And leaning into going into the season, names that we haven't seen before. We've never got to experience new players that we don't know yet, obviously, right? Like we're waiting for College Halo to announce all the other teams. But when we're looking at potential teams, like you had actually talked very early on about Liberty, way back when.
That is true.
So seeing new teams like that, a possible UCF is being locked in. I mean locked in for the season is really cool. And we haven't had new. Our new team last season was Milkshake. So UIUC was new. I can't think of another new one. Is there one I don't think there's another new one. I think it was Milkshake. Oh,
Yeah, last season.
well, no, we're not going to talk about that team. There was one other team, not with this, but um,
They're not with us anymore.
they're not with us anymore, at least for
R.I.P.
a year and a half. Not with us
Oh,
anymore.
we got. No, SNU wasn't new. I don't know why I thought SNU was there before. My bad. My bad. Yeah. So I mean, it's always refreshing to see new teams come in.
And a good bit
But
of
I
new
think
teams.
even. What would you say?
A good bit of new teams.
Yeah,
Like-
and I think that's like. It goes beyond just refreshing because I think it's all it's always nice to have a new team because it's like, oh, these are some new guys that are becoming a part of the community. These are new guys who are going to be here to play against, new team to scrim, new just people to hang out with in general. But I think it's even cooler when you look at like so many potentially new teams coming into the league. Just because it's not only refreshing to get that new perspective and these new teams playing, but it's also like a look of like, okay, this thing's still bumping. Like we're not, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
not to say that I thought that this was gonna die out, but like with anything, like there's a chance that just schools start dropping. Right? We've seen a few teams and schools lose their rosters over this past offseason. I think with new teams coming in, it's just a really fun and exciting thing because now we're seeing that there are new teams wanting to compete in Halo.
Right. And I think that's like we get the announcement that we don't have HCS for a year. And I think for us, we start thinking, what does that mean for us? Because we partner up with College Halo, which I think was a big, like, I'm gonna be honest, Ben, without you, I would have never done this. Not in a heartbeat. It wouldn't have happened. But we partner up with College Halo. We last season, it's been in the talks for a while, and last season we did our Quigley 2v2. We had amazing production. College Halo gave us that opportunity, and we looked at it in such a brighter light. Right? HCS gets announced that we don't get 2026, which is fine because I do think we're getting something moving forward. We've kind of seen on Twitter a little bit where everybody at Halo Studios has said there's nothing going on in 2026 for HCS. Okay.
How big is your backyard? That's it. Don't blank on me. That's a legitimate question. How big is your backyard?
I'm looking at it. It's very small.
Not big. Okay. All right. Well, then we'll use mine. If HCS doesn't do anything, everybody come to my house. We'll all pitch up tents outside.
Oh yeah, your
so
backyard.
At night we'll cook out and sleep. During the day we'll pull out like fold out tables. Everybody will bring their own PCs or consoles or whatever, and we'll have Halo tournaments in my backyard.
College Halo, heard it here first. We're gonna do it. Could you imagine though? We have all everybody roll up. We're just in Ben's backyard. His parents are like,
I could get Jake Lucky would retweet it. Yeah, these guys are having a Halo tournament in some dude's backyard.
You could, which would be crazy. But I just think we kind of had a blank future, right? Until we heard announcements. Obviously, we are not in the College Halo talks. We are in our separate College Halo talks, right? We have different conversations because our side of the business is different. Being in podcasts, doing like one event, hopefully to do more than one moving forward. But we do one event for them. And we have a lot of our we have our prediction show, we have this podcast, we have our one shots, so we are different. But we didn't know where we were going to go. Were we just going to do Halo as a whole? I mean, me and you had a lot of talks of like, where are we going? And College Halo came through. These teams came through, and I think that's probably the most exciting part for me, is that the light at the end of the tunnel is what we wanted it to be.
Yeah, I agree 100% because I mean, it looked kind of bleak for a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, it was a little, and it still can be to a certain extent because we don't know what the future of competitive Halo looks like, especially as we go into this next year, where at the moment of this recording we have no clue what the landscape of Halo is going to look like. Right? We're hoping for some sort of announcement at Worlds or at least close to that time, but we have no idea what's to come. And so for podcast and for content side of things, where we're trying to focus a lot on Halo and
Right.
more particularly the competitive scene of Halo.
Yeah.
It can be a little scary looking at the end of a game's life cycle. But I think with support from some of these teams who are looking like they still want to keep this game going, as well as these huge communities like we see with College Halo, like we see with some of these smaller teams or community leagues and orgs that are trying to keep things rolling. I do think that there's still going to be plenty to talk about, that there's still going to be plenty to cover, and I mean hopefully there's plenty enough to lead us into whatever Halo Studios has planned for 2027 and beyond.
Right. And I think like Connor and Odin and Dog Bear, they have great heads on their shoulders for ideas. So I do think these schools, I mean, we hung out with some UCF boys. SNU is more active.
UCF.
Yeah, Bales.
Balls, right.
Yeah, that guy. So like it's exciting that they will get to experience something, and maybe they'll develop something, that we haven't seen or thought of, or be able to, give some input. I'm excited to see what Connor's cooking up. For our season, I mean, I think we're going to do really well. I'm not expecting anything against our Fisher match.
I'm expecting a hot 3-0. We're going to slam. 34th is going to weigh him down.
I got a question. We're not associated with our school anymore in that fashion.
We're a club.
Can we FF?
We cannot FF. Sorry, the general manager, Ben Fish, has spoken.
We're not even the general manager.
We cannot FF.
Super's more of a general manager than you are.
No, Super is the owner of Quigley. He made me the general manager of FS Halo, our new Halo club through FS.
Okay, well, we'll have a meeting about that.
He did not actually make me that.
He's just talking out of his butt is what he is.
I'm just talking.
Let's talk about these new maps before we dive into anything LVT or HCS related or rumor related stuff. These new maps, you have some insight. I want you to lay it out. We have Lattice that was added to ranked map pool. What's the other one?
Serenity. You want to hear my you want to hear my take on this? Do you really want to hear this take?
Go ahead, because I have some feedback from today about one of the maps.
I don't know who put these maps into the game. Fire them immediately. I don't know whose idea this is. Fire this guy and the guy who put Pit. You know what? Might be the same guy. Just take two birds with one stone. Get rid of them. I don't know what in the world we are thinking, bringing in maps from Halo games that had no sprint into a game that has sprint. And not only sprint, but sliding and maneuverability that allows you to fly across the map in like no time. These maps, I'll get to Lattice, but Serenity in specific is like so bad to play because because it was built to be played with no sprint.
Right. 100%.
And so like that there was a momentum that was taken when playing that map because you had to play the map slower because there was no sprint. Now that momentum is so different that and maybe I'm just going crazy because I just don't like the map, but at the end of the day, I do think that it wasn't built for this style of game. And so just importing it in doesn't make sense. It'd be like putting like a jetpack COD map into a boots on the ground game. Like it doesn't so half the map you can't even get to because you don't have a jetpack, right?
They did that.
Yeah.
And it was
okay. So what about vice versa? What if we put boots on the ground game maps in a jetpack? Like that would be better in terms of things, right? Because it's a slower pace to a faster pace, and so you're going from well, it takes me 15 seconds to get to this P4 rotation, but now I can get there in 3 seconds because I have my super dash triple axle backflip maneuver.
Right. No, I'm saying they did it in COD and it failed. Everybody hates it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
it's Fringe from BO3 or whatever.
That's right.
They added it, and it's the most hated map right now on BO6. I'm going to agree with you on Serenity before we jump into Lattice. I wanted to give a take here. It this is what I hate. I'm gonna say this. This is what I hate. So I don't want you to think I'm like countering you in this manner. But you have to play it slow.
Yeah.
It forces you to, which is a little annoying. I'm gonna agree. Now, if there was let's say there was a stage, right? So during HCS off season after Halo 5, they played a bunch of MCC modes. And anybody in the comments can contest to this. They played a bunch of MCC games. It was either Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo 4, whatever. They played them in tournaments. They were online events. There weren't any. I don't think there were any LANs, at least not sponsored by Halo Studios LANs or 343 at the time. But they played all these old games. You had to learn them all. Halo 4 had movement, right? Movement text. Halo Reach had movement text. Halo 2 and 3 do not have movement text. But they don't all share maps, which I think is the difference here right now in Infinite. We're sharing maps. But let's say we had Halo Infinite and we had different, like Delta Arena or like those different modes to combat that feel on Serenity, where if we were playing a Delta Arena tournament, we played Guardian, we played Serenity, we played the Pit. Right.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at us, brains in sync, man.
Yeah. I knew where you were going.
But we play those maps in Delta Arena. That's a Delta Arena event. It works in Infinite. No one can tell me it doesn't because it's no sprint.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, the maps aren't scaled the same, and it might feel weird, but we play it in Delta Arena, and it feels better than with sprinting. And I think that's where we also see moving into Lattice. Okay, Lattice is a Halo Infinite map, smaller, right? But here's where we differ. Obviously, you don't like Lattice. I like Lattice because Lattice fits my play style. You don't like Lattice because it doesn't fit your play style. But we played Lattice today. It was Strongholds, and we won 250 to like 180. But I knew exactly every time we lost a hill or lost the rotation, I saw what we did wrong, as in me and you, and our Strongholds comparative, right?
Yeah, I can get that.
And it's on me. I'm going to say this live on pod. Our game where you hated Lattice and we got in a little argument, it's my fault.
Somebody record. Oh wait, we are recording. No, but
so yeah.
Okay. Do you want to touch on that, or were you just
the
making
reason
a statement?
It's where I was taking it as like a space filler where you could get space easier. I was wrong. I played it today.
Oh. Okay.
And I went for B. I didn't go for A first. I went for B. When we were in a trip cap scenario. And when I knew they were going A, I took C. And when I knew they were trying to fight B, I fought B. I didn't go for A. And I won. So
all right, this is the news I needed to hear. This is sorry for the silence there. If you're a audio listener, you just missed the face of shock that you will get to see if you're watching this on YouTube.
I was wrong.
Look, I mean, dude, I like the way that you put it, because it is a dislike of the map because it doesn't play into my style. I think one of the reasons why I love maps like Recharge and I was about to say Slayer. I only ever play Slayer Live Fire, so I guess that's what I was about to say. The reason why I like maps like Recharge and Live Fire so much are because I have the fundamentals of those maps down, and I think it's because we have so many reps on those maps, just because we've played them so many times as a team, and then just grinding matchmaking, I've got so many reps myself. and I have a deeper understanding of the spawns and being able to understand, like, if I'm holding oddball back a small door or window, whatever you like to call it, and I see my teammate
Right.
coming from dummy, I immediately know where I need to be looking for this next spawn up, right? Or if we have 4 dead and one of my teammates spawns back green, I know exactly where I need to be watching or where I need to call for someone to be watching so that we're still keeping this ball in play. And it's like on Lattice, I feel like maybe more in ball you can do that, but in the strongholds especially, I feel like there's no like you move an inch out of a specific spot and they're spawning behind you, shooting you in the back. And like I
Right.
hear some of our teammates complain about it, all the time. Like, why am I getting shot in the back? And it's like because the spawn system is very like technical and it's very focused on you. I don't want to say sitting in one spot, but holding one position that allows you to keep a spawn in place, right? In that
And
in that live fire area, like if I push out from back A into scoreboard, they're not going to spawn back A behind me, right? Because I'm still in that area. But if I spawn, if I'm in cargo, there's a chance they can still spawn behind me in blue or that green gym area on lattice. And so I think that's where I kind of lose it kind of loses me for the map because I cannot read the spawns to save my life unless it's oddball. Oddball, we can figure it out.
right. To kind of double that, I didn't move as much when I knew what spawn I wanted. And I think that's where like these new maps and there's so much pressure on a map that if I knew I could hold them back, and that's why I kind of wanted in the college season. I think if we talk as a team and get an understanding, or at least like my mental understanding, because I played with it was me, OG, Super, and Leo. I didn't hear Super once say he got shot in the back. Well, maybe no. There was one time because they ran bottom blue, but it wasn't because of spawns. I watched it happen. Like it was a call, right?
Yeah.
And the second time we played Lattice, I got an overkill to start the game, and they all left. I felt bad.
Hey, that's a W start to the game.
I literally was like, "All right, 4 dead," and then one person left and one person stopped moving, and I went, "Okay, we won."
Why can't you do that whenever I'm playing on that map? Because then that means I get off the map quicker.
I can tell you what the team did and what you do for some reason.
I never play snipe.
Dude, I literally had Leo go. Leo was like, this was really funny because I didn't bring you up, but I thought about you. He peaked like blue or like bottom blue pipes, I think, or something like somewhere around there. And he was like, he saw them go to QT, and he's like, who goes QT off rip? Losers or something. And in my head, I was like, Ben. Ben does.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I just got a new understanding of Lattice today, where I see your point of view, and I know you said a lot of people in College Halo don't want it, and I think we should have it. No offense, I think we need new. I think we just have to deal with it personally. And because I'd hate, I mean, we said it with Odin in our last episode. We don't like he made the app or whatever that you can look at. You can't duplicate maps, right?
That is true.
Give me another map then, because I don't have Streets Oddball anymore or Streets
Hey.
or whatever. Yeah.
If somebody picks lattice against us, just know we're immediately going oddball. We are immediately going oddball.
Either Oddball or King of the Hill.
Yeah, you're not playing strongholds against us on lattice.
Unless we just slam, right? Like if another team picks it and we have a full understanding of like how I played today, if we can like redo that, which would be hard with our team. Don't get me wrong. Because it would be like we have to have a deep understanding, right? Like this is just how we play the map. Don't play it any different. And I'll say this: my COD practice is helping my thought process too.
Wow.
So shout out to Cursa for saying some things to make me reflect. He made a comment. He's like, because I asked him, I said, how do I improve, right? Because I'm obviously playing 2 games. I want to slam in college, which I'm going to college Halo.
I was about to say, I was like, whoa.
But in COD, I just want to be the support player. I don't want to be. I'm not the carry. My 2 subs can carry me. And he's like, "You're making good routes. We're just making the same routes." And that automatically made me be like, "Okay, so I'm thinking like Cursa to fill these holes. So let me just like look even harder at my team." So I started looking harder in Halo.
Don't ever let me hear you say that again, bro. I need a dang ghosty masterclass out of you. You know what I mean? I need an AR 40 bomb for the win. Your SMGs look like they're not even on the map because you're just slaying everybody. You know what I
Hey,
mean? I expect it week 1. I'm gonna be tuned in. I'll
hey,
watch.
LA Thieves, let them go, friend. Did they
He's
pick
still
up?
a pro player.
Oh, that's true. Did they pick up Kenny?
I do not know. I saw the rumor, but I do not
Saw the
know if
rumor.
that's actual.
See, I need rumors like that
Yeah.
in Halo, dude. I need some college Halo rumors. We
Well, it's too late
transfer.
in the season. It's too late to say. Okay.
We need some school transfers here. No, but I'm really excited. Today I learned a lot, and I've just been thinking. I took things you said into an account. I think we should have the map though in college Halo.
I think if it's professional map, then we're gonna see it in college Halo, and I mean we're seeing the pros play it, so I see it making its way in. I do not see us playing Serenity.
No, we
but
should not play it. 4 Rockets.
probably
4.
Lattice. Yeah.
Oh my god! When you told me today, when you said he hasn't, I mean, I know we were all joking, right? You were like, he hasn't played the map, and you were like, there's 4 Rockets on Serenity, and I was like, why? And then the statement was it was always been 4 Rockets from when it was not a sprinting map, and I was like, it was 4 Rockets on the pit, and it's not on Empyrean.
Yeah, I think it's a terrible decision design wise, just because that map is so open and there's no play, especially at the start of the game, to try to waste those rockets. Like on any other, especially on any other open map where you have rockets, I would think something like Pit, maybe not as open as Serenity. But like if you're rushing mid and you're able to get those rockets and you realize you're about to drop them, you can try to pop out 2 rockets to get rid of them, so at least the other team doesn't have it. But in the case for Serenity, you pop 2 rockets, you die. Well, all of a sudden they're picking it up, reloading with 2 more. You're screwed either way. So
yeah, it's just not. It's not a Halo Infinite map. If it was Delta Arena, maybe because we're walking, right? The pace of the map is slower, but it is not a sprint super slide kind of map. To where Lattice, I think, benefits the sprinting and super sliding. Like I think that's the difference. We get these 2 maps, and they're complete opposites. I mean, we have 2 snipers and a rocket on Serenity, and on Lattice we have a sniper and a QT. I feel like Lattice is more competitive than Serenity. It was just Serenity was chaos.
well, I mean, look, if we're being honest, we've seen some pro players play on Lattice. We've seen what it looks like to play at the highest level on Lattice now, and at the professional level with teams scrimming. But this, well, I guess as recording this just yesterday, but this past weekend we got to see pros play this map a few times, and it kind of went both ways. That there were multiple teams that had wins and losses on the maps. I think there's a lot of potential for the map, right? Like I don't personally like it, but if we do look over to what did we see this past weekend? Not just with Lattice. Let's get Lattice out of the mind. Let's focus on what we saw this past weekend on other maps.
So I'd love to preface this past weekend a little bit. If anybody looked at the leading up to this weekend, there were 8 teams in the LVT Pro League. Only 6 teams qualified, right? The 2 teams that did not qualify are Cloud9 and Omit. They didn't qualify at all for the LAN. The 6 teams you had, and I'm going to go from first to sixth. You have, or no, I'm going to go the other way because it's funnier. You have Complexity 2 and 5, Space Station 4 and 3, NV 4 and 3, Envy was above Space Station because of a map count difference. They had more wins. Then you have FaZe, who's 5-2. Shopify, who was 5-2. Again, in that situation, Shopify was above FaZe for a map count. Then you have Optic, who was 7-0. And I'm gonna preface this is that standings awkward enough meant absolutely nothing. That 6th to 1st meant dog water. For how the performance was. For how the performance was. It meant dog water. Because
I mean, two of them meant something.
No.
The last two.
Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yep. Complexity got deleted. Okay.
They made a really big upset day one, and then it was flat.
Right. It was like they fought for it just to get punched in the face. Because what was it? Like
I believe they reverse swept FaZe. Was it FaZe or Envy?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Why are there so many videos?
I don't know why I'm asking these questions. I had it pulled up somewhere. Hold up, and I can tell you right here. It was. Let's see. It was FaZe Clan. They beat them 4-3 in the winners bracket quarterfinal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like
and let me just be 100% sure. I would hate to lie. I don't actually know if that was a reverse sweep or not.
I mean, a best of 7. If that was a reverse sweep, talk about wild.
Not a reverse sweep, but they were able to close it out, and I believe that last map was like pretty close. I think it came down to the wire. So I mean,
so they have an upset, and then I don't think they showed up like ever again, in my opinion. Watching them, at least, even if they fought back a little bit, like I didn't feel like they showed up. Not to like be cruel. Oh, here we go. Because they quite literally they do the thing against FaZe. FaZe gets dropped. Which is very rare, I think, when we think about FaZe Clan as they are now. I think they're a solid 3rd place team.
Yeah.
But, it's very wild that like we see that. They go up against Shopify, get slammed 4-0. Then they go back down to losers. And are they up against FaZe again? Because like
wait, who are we talking about?
For
FaZe and who?
FaZe and why do I say their name wrong? Complexity. Did they go against in loser bracket or no?
No. FaZe goes down and plays Envy.
Okay, so Envy loses SSG, then Envy loses SSG. So who?
No, they beat SSG.
They beat SSG.
I'm so confused. This bracket is so chalked. What is Halo Data Hive doing to me? What am I looking at?
Oh, well, shoot. He's my news guy. Okay, give me the rundown here. Give me or send it to That's weird. Is that bracket?
I'm trying to. Yeah, you might have to try to find the bracket here because this is okay. Wait. Look at that bracket right there. Where you got it right there. Sorry to any viewers who cannot see what we are looking at here. I'm just trying to figure out.
I'll throw it up for the viewers on VOD.
Okay.
Looking at it, you have upper round 1, upper round 2, upper round 1, upper round 2. Okay.
Yep.
It doesn't tell you who goes down here, but it should be this loser goes here. So lower round 2, lower 6 comes from 2.
I found it.
So you found it? Look at that.
I'll be sure to send this to you so you can add it in.
And then I'll add in what he's showing.
All right.
He'll send me a link here in a second or something. But the start of the bracket's very weird. You have 6 teams. Optic and Shopify have buys starting out because they were 1st and 2nd. I mean, we expected Optic and Shopify to be there, right? Because they've been slamming it all year long.
Yeah, 100%.
But like having Envy 4-3 and Complexity 4-3, right? In the winners very crazy to see our third and fourth teams drop down into losers. And I don't know if anybody expect. I mean, Envy's a strong team. Don't get me wrong, but they go down in complexity. It's 4-0'd by Shopify, 4-0'd by Space Station. Like what?
Yeah,
Excuse me?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Complexity seemed to have turned on the Jets for game one. I mean, it seemed like they were on fire in that last map of that series, and then
Right.
they proceed to go and get demolished by Shopify. And I don't know if it was a thing of, maybe all the momentum just got knocked out of them right there by Shopify, and they just had nothing going into that Space Station game. But to be honest, the whole bracket, Space Station didn't look that great. Like the whole weekend, they didn't look like a top 3, top 4 team. And I think that this was probably Complexity's best moment to have that opportunity to overcome Space Station. And they just fell flat because, I mean, double 4-0'd does not look good when going through that bracket.
No, it looks really bad. And when you look at it, Space Station's not on fire this event. Beating Complexity 4-0 in that situation doesn't make Space Station look good. No offense. Makes Complexity look worse because Space Station loses to Envy 4-3, which I'm gonna give Envy their flowers. 3 game 7s. Crazy. But like Space Station doesn't look good, right? You lose to Envy in a game 7 Slayer. You have 4-0 Complexity, who just got wally-walloped by Shopify in like 45 minutes. And then you lose 4-2 to FaZe, which is kind of expected now at this stage. Like, so expected. But, like, FaZe came off of Rulers, Space Station. What were we doing?
Yeah, that's the moment in that loser bracket semifinal. You have Space Station coming off of a hot 4-0, and then FaZe Clan having to fight tooth and nail against Envy, barely winning it in a 4-3 victory. And it's like, this is your opportunity at Space Station. And I understand Complexity, wasn't really the team to beat in this tournament, but Space Station just absolutely demolished Complexity. They have to be coming off of a high at this moment, while FaZe Clan has to be gassed. And it's almost like it was the reverse. Like FaZe Clan took that win and were able to just shift that momentum in their favor,
Yeah,
while Space Station took that high and just let it ride out.
literally. I mean, if you look at it, Complexity 4-3'd FaZe, right? If Space Station's 4-0 in Complexity, if we're really looking at it like flower, stats to stats, Space Station should have had a really good setup here against FaZe. And I think they let it go. I think they just kind of let FaZe have more than they needed. But here's my question for this event. Talking about these teams, because it's going to kind of tie into this FaZe and Optic game, and then Optic versus Shopify. These are best of 7s. Are these teams gassed before their next series? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we were talking earlier today about, what would happen if like we were recording a podcast right after playing, in these qualifiers
Yeah.
that we just have for the College Halo League. And it's like, I was like, I'd be coming on here absolutely gassed trying to do the intro, catching my breath. And I could not imagine having to play. Because, I mean, most of these teams come into these tournaments playing nothing but, if you're an open bracket player, sometimes you're playing best of 3s up until a certain point. And then after a certain point, you're playing nothing but best of 5s. The only teams that get to see a best of 7 are those that are in, grand finals, right? Like, and most of the time you only see one. Occasionally a team may see 2 if there's a bracket reset, but these teams had to play best of 7s the entire day. And while there were some that were quicker series, right, a 4-0, 4-0, 4-1, there were a few of these series that went the distance. And I mean, it's got to be tiring after a little while.
That was my biggest worry. Was how gassed these teams were going to be. And awkward enough, I think when you're looking at it, I don't think Optic and Shopify were gassed in the slightest. I do not think they were gassed in the slightest. Seeing that they like Optic at round 7, 2 map 7s Optic has, and then FaZe has 2 map 7s. They play a little bit more, right? They play 1 map more, but it's a day break. And then Shopify was kind of slamming this event, bro. But like FaZe, they come off a 4-2 against Space Station. They're a very strong team, and then it's a 4-1 against Optic. You know, like I think FaZe was gassed. I think they came in flat, and there's nothing they could have done about it. Like, I don't know if you feel the same way looking at it that way, but
I do 100% agree. I mean, and by the time you get to this point, this is the final day of the tournament. Like I always say, like these are the moments that these teams live for. That this is the moment where you get to be that upset team. I think that everybody had their eyes on Optic winning that series from the get-go, and this is FaZe's moment to kind of show that they still have what it takes, right? Because we saw them go toe-to-toe with Optic, at a major earlier this year. Then, of course, as we talked about plenty of times in season 1 of this podcast, they made a change. It was not really a change that we personally enjoyed here on this podcast. It was not a change that many people enjoyed, but it was a change that had to be made as they moved forward. As you know, there were some inner things going on between teammates.
Right.
And I just think that overall, this is your moment to finally show, like, okay, we made that change. Like, everybody thought it was crazy. We haven't been able to make it to that top 2 spot again. This is our chance to make it to that top 2 spot once again, and we have to overcome the green wall and what they are that everybody thought was going to be winning this tournament, or at least a good bit of people thought would be winning this tournament as they have been playing so far this throughout the LVT online matches. And they come out flat. Like they don't look like the same FaZe that we saw throughout the whole weekend, where they're clutching up these game 7 wins. They're pushing teams the distance. They looked like a completely different team against Optic.
Which is kind of crazy to say, because I'm pretty sure if we take a lap back, we had a lot of hope for FaZe in these events. And I don't think this LVT LAN, don't get me wrong, LVT, good job, awesome trophy, awesome setup. I don't think this shows a good representation of main stage teams, these teams on main stage, versus this LVT LAN. But like, it's really questionable. There's not much to really say about Optic and Shopify either in this situation. It's exactly as we lied about. Exactly what we thought was going to happen. Going to go down to Optic versus Shopify. And we got a 4-1 grand final Shopify win. Kudos to Wyatt. 10 grand in his pocket. But there is one caveat right now. This is kind of the last topic we'll go in on the pod is for today. Is people are coming at Shopify. And you could say this is Optic fans being Optic fans. But apparently there are talks in the work and it's being communicated that the Wolverine Pro V3 should be banned.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and throw this out there that I have no clue about this. I must be a little off of the drama or Twitter feed or whatever, but you brought this up earlier today when we were talking, and so I was just like, you're gonna have to take this part away because I have no clue what we're talking about. So I would like to get kind of your insights on what you've seen, what people have been saying, but also your own take on all of this.
So I've had this conversation with Super, and Super made a valid point. Now this is a conversation where in HCS it's a controller that gets banned. So we've banned one controller for macro mapping.
Macros,
right? Yep. Where if I pull the trigger, it can do multiple things. Now technically you can't what's it called? You can't overclock an Xbox controller. You can't overclock a SCUF controller right now. Now in the industry, multiple controllers are having automatic or customizable inputs to overclock to 1,000 hertz right away. Like it's being like, and for the Wolverine Pro, the V3 one, it's not only the V3. The 2 previous versions, it's not the case. when you plug it in via USB-C, it automatically goes to 1,000 hertz, and it's an overclocked controller. It's built into the board of the controller. It's not an app. It's nothing else. It's built into the controller. So when you plug it in via USB-C, the USB-C plug-in, and what I'm guessing online is and I'm gonna say this from my premises, what I'm seeing the controller does is a USB-C plug-in port. I have about 3 on my desktop, all do different things based on hertz. I also have super USB ports, USB 2.0s, that all do different hertz, like strength. And the issue is that if you don't have that controller, which automatically does it, let's say you're using the SCUF. If I use the SCUF with the same plugin, which is possible, I get 500 hertz, not 1,000. So
Okay.
the conversation comes down to, I don't have $200, and I know I said SCUF. We'll take SCUF out of the equation.
Yeah.
But if I don't have $200 for the Wolverine, I'm missing out on overclocking. And in HCS rules, unless it's changed, you are not allowed to overclock your controller via applications or set. You know what I mean? In this case, it's like riding a line, is what I'll say, where the controller does it itself. It's not the player, not an application. The controller is built the way it is. And Super made a valid point. HCS needs to catch up with technology, because
Yeah.
the Wolverine's not the only one that you can overclock as an Xbox controller. SCUF is working on one that does it naturally. Razer obviously came out with theirs. You can tell me about the game, sir, but I'm pretty sure yours can be overclocked, if not one of the newer versions. I can look it up here.
The GameSir, you can use the GameSir app that they have.
Okay, so
but you know, it goes with the same thing. You have to use the app that they have. It's not built into the controller.
So there you go. So from my knowledge, SCUF's working on one where it's app related. A lot of controllers are using apps. The Wolverine V3 does not use an app. I looked it up. Razer has its Synapsis app, but you don't use that app to turn it on. You plug in a USB-C to USB-C, plugs into the controller, and it does it. You know what I mean? Like, it's automatically. And that's Shopify's controller. You know what I mean? Half of them got, 3 of them got it, I think. So that's Shopify's controller. So people are saying this is a Mickey Mouse trophy. I don't agree. Do not agree. I don't think it should be banned. Don't get me wrong. But put some caveats. Get a USB 2.0 to see. You know, change the cord. You know, if you're on main stage, judges, like, or HCS, make it a rule that it has to be this cord. Because if you have an overclocked controller, you do have an advantage to someone who does not. That is very true.
Okay. Let me, and because I'm actually trying to look at Twitter right now just to see, and I have seen one thing, one person saying that on the official Razer post where they announced that Shopify had won, and you know, saying, oh, they were using our controller. Somebody said, at Optic Boys need this controller, not that GameSir crap. Here, okay, if it is clearly Optic, you know, fans who are shouting the loudest that this needs to be banned, my question to Optic fans is, as an Optic fan, I would like to ask, why are you complaining when your team also has access to these controllers? Because Optic is sponsored by Razer.
I think it's their audio sponsor, though. Like, I'll caveat that. I think Razer is their audio sponsor.
But okay, so then they don't have a controller. So then, but they could still be using the Wolverine V3.
They could.
It's a.
To just caveat that, their controller sponsor is SCUF. Shopify's controller sponsor is Razer. Like if we're bringing up the spot, like using it and their sponsor, like that's where I'll challenge it. Where somebody out there might fight it that way. I don't think it's a good argument. I'm just like, if we're gonna bring up, like, I wouldn't even say sponsor. Like, don't put in the sponsor aspect of it, because you're right, they can use it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's fair. I guess I'm just more saying, like, it's the same thing with like if you ban this controller, like, okay, then what are you gonna do? Ban, you know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure the GameSir saves your profiles. So when you overclock that, and I could be wrong here.
I think you're right.
I guess
I do think you're right.
So like if I overclock my controller right here on my PC, or not really overclock, but set its polling rate to 1,000 hertz, and then leave and go plug this in somewhere else, it should keep that profile with 1,000 hertz.
Correct.
So if if Scuff is making the same thing, then if we're banning every controller that has possibility to make it to 1,000 hertz, then everybody's going to be playing with original Xbox controllers next year. Wow, how much fun!
Well, that's where I agree with Super. They should change the rules to allow it to remove the overclock aspect. Because controllers are going to make it more readily available, because you're allowed to do it in Call of Duty. You're allowed to do it in Apex. Like, there's no rule against it. You just can't use macros in these games, which Halo has a rule for. So I agree with Super where it needs to be a rule change. I don't think this is a Mickey Mouse trophy. Shopify always plays well. I can see the argument, and I'm going to give this to the community. I can see the argument, because Last Shot did a whole video why it went live. Not a whole video. He went live literally being like, they're talking about our pull rate. I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't control that, whatever, which is true. You're putting something on a player that's not the player's fault, right? If the controller does it, the controller does it. Okay, leave it at that. Where, like, I'm with you. It's like Optic could have bought the controller when it came out.
Yeah,
but they didn't. That's on Optic. They could have used the controller. Maybe one of them were. I don't know. I honestly saw Shopify's controllers more because they were slamming. But no, I'd agree 100% with you. That bracket spoke for itself. Shopify played very well, and it doesn't need to be a rule. It doesn't need to be like banned. It's not how the game works. Okay. HCS update the rules.
Well, I mean, if Lucid catches on, it'll be banned very soon.
Got that right. Lucid is the ban master. But no, I definitely think it's use the controller. Like, it's free to use. You're Optic Gaming. You have the money to do it, and I don't think it's like Optic the team complaining about it, right, or making the accusations. I think it's the community itself, which is probably obviously leading towards the Optic community. And I'm gonna have to fight the Optic community on that, because I think they're so wrong.
While you have an Optic flag hanging behind you in camera view, and
OG, it's just, I don't think if it's a macro controller like the one that's banned, it's a different story than a controller that overclocks. Okay, that's just input rate. Buy the controller. It's a controller that matches your input rate better, matches you better. It matches you as the player. Okay,
but I like my GameSir.
You have full rate though.
Ah, okay.
I'm like, he's like, but I like this controller. You have the pull rate, sir. That's all I have to say on that. You got anything else that any more on that, or?
I mean, really, no. I think it's a weird take. I think it's something that needs to be touched on by it feels weird because I'd say, like, oh, it needs to be touched on by HCS, but like we're 2 events away from the end of the season. Like, how much are they going to change now? So I mean that's my ending statement, I guess. Are they really going to make a change before the last major and then champs? Probably not.
That's where I say the change is it's allowed. That's the change. It could never be the other way around. It's, hey guys, it's allowed. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the change. It's allowed. Deal with it, kind of deal. But anyways, all you beautiful people out there, before I give Ben his glorious outros that everybody loves, um, go follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/superpods. Got a prediction show that comes out every Monday, and this podcast that comes out on YouTube at the Quigley Podcast every Friday. We do like to do stuff on Twitch. Right now we are focused deeply into College Halo and what's coming up this Halo season. But just be on the lookout for Twitch, and also follow us on Twitter, where we try to post consistently. This season we are locking in on game times, streams that College Halo is doing. We are trying our best to partner and advertise ourselves and College Halo, so everybody can get their eyes on it. And we will have a Patreon running that will have some exclusive videos or behind the scenes stuff for the community to see. But definitely go follow us on all our socials. Links will be in the description of the audio recording, which comes out on Friday, and the video recording, which comes out on Saturday. Alrighty, Ben, send us off.
Yeah, same thing as Banksy said. Make sure that you guys are supporting us with all of the channels that we have. It helps us a lot in just continuing to make the stuff that we can for you guys. Also, remember to continue to give us feedback, man. Comment on our Twitter. Hop into the chats on Twitch when we're streaming. Comment on YouTube. Any sort of feedback that we get just helps us to better the content that we're outputting for you guys, and that's what it's for. At the end of the day, is just creating this community and being able to give you guys news and just insights into what we're thinking about the comp Halo scene as well as the college Halo scene. We're looking forward to the future of this college Halo season. And just remember to catch us back here next Friday, and of course the video version next Saturday. Catch you guys next week.